Oh,
if you're a really religious person, right? And Jesus, a God, he made image, a man in his image, right? You know what I'm saying? It's impossible you're never gonna see him, right? So you know, if he made man in his image, and the first man on the water earth happened to be a man of my pigment, a little doggy, you know I'm gonna be the closest thing to God. What? If God gave me, all right, God put me on this earth to do his deeds, and he gave you to me as a gift. We should love one another. You know what I'm saying, buddy?
Let me say what I would call in my Bible readings. It's only 2 men I need to show like a certain different, no, it's 3.
Who?
My pastor. My pastor, you gotta respect your pastor because that's your leadership. That's when you're spiritually. I felt another raindrop.
What's wrong with rain?
My camera. My very Anyway, my pastor, my father, and my husband. Those are the 3 men I'm supposed to treat with a different kind of utmost respect. Other than that, every other person is supposed to have basic respect. Like, I'm not gonna treat you any less than I would treat any of my girlfriends. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me apologize to them. But when I see it, it's an urge to just come out. When I see somebody just acting like what that word meant, that's what that word meant back in the day. That's exactly what it meant. It meant you were below bar, you were a failure, you was this, you was that. And when I see people acting like that, acting like what we're supposed to be from, like, I'm being me, bruh. And then they use the N-word themselves. They dirty, they don't bathe, they got their dirty drawers on, they got their skunky shorts on, they wearing socks and slides, dirty socks and slides. Kill me, bruh. Don't do their hair. And they say, oh, bruh, I'm just being me. No, you being what we're supposed to be away from. You're going back into stereotypes. So if you want to be a stereotype, I'm not saying I don't always use a word, I don't just throw it out there like that. I mostly use it for comedic purposes, and I don't use it around like my parents and elderly folk because I respect them. And I wouldn't use that word around them because they grew up with that word. But on the real, nah, they really grew up with that word. You didn't grow up. My mother grew up in the 1960s. It was a different kind of world than we live in now. She could get killed. I mean, not saying you can't get killed now. It was a lot different than it was now. We grew up with it, but not the same way. My grandmother, born in 1930, grew up with it. So you telling me it's the same way how it was in the 1930s?
Let's say we got my cousin right now. He come from Mississippi. If he used over there, he get killed. It's 2009. You still saying in Mississippi.
But I'm saying, the way, how strong racism is now, and how easy it was to get killed, they still get lynched to this day. Yeah. But it's a difference of 2009 and there is in 1930.
They still getting killed.
It's a difference.
They still got segregated schools and stuff. They still can't go to certain places because they still getting shot at. What do you mean it's different?
In 1930, I doubt any of us would be at FAU. In 1930, I'd probably be sweeping Master Flow talking with a slur. In 1930, I mean, it was a whole lot. I'm not saying the stuff still doesn't go on. You're misinterpreting me. I'm saying in the when my parents, my grandmother and them grew up, we all grew up with racism, but it was much harder then than it is now. Racism still exists. Unfairness still exists.
They try to make, brainwash. Okay, racism ain't existing.
I don't know who that is.
Yo.
Who is big brother?
All right. Your big brother. The people that's teaching, the media, everything. The people that's getting high interest rates on your house, who ain't giving you no loans, who teach you this poor education. Those people I'm talking about. That's they. They is this whole system we live in. They is you can be a black teacher, you can be a white teacher. That's they. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Racism still exists. Out here. You got President Obama. That's everybody love to talk about Obama. He ran for president. Well-spoken man, white mama, black daddy, right? That's how it is. Whatever.
Yeah, he's Kenyan.
What KKK said? He win it. We gonna assassinate. We gonna kill. We gonna do this. We gonna do that. All these hate crimes and stuff happen everywhere, man. Police still shooting up all these innocent people and stuff like that. All these unnecessary things going on.
I don't think you even understand me. I'm saying all this stuff still happens. Yes, there's still racism. There's still unfair treatment.
You're saying it ain't happening as much as it was then.
No, it wasn't.
It's happening more now than it was then. Okay, yeah. A white family, the Jacksons. They got a black family called the Jacksons. They might lynch them up, kill them, and do all that, rape their women and stuff like that. I mean, we still got some innocence. You still work for these corporations like sexual harassment. Black woman, vice president of, let's say, Motorola or something, and the white boss still be less, but it's the same stuff still going on. It's just different. Now you get to go home your own house, but you still gotta convert to him. You still do the same thing too.
I don't work for a white man. I don't work for anybody.
You go to school, you pay tuition, you paying the white man.
I'm
if you
paying
living in America, you getting screwed one way or another. I don't care how you look at it. To the food you eat. Let me see. White man, white man, white man, white man.
Korean man.
Foot Locker,
Korean
Walmart,
man.
straight. No.
Come
This
on.
is for black people.
Who
They put it
own
on the
Nike?
shirt swap shop.
White man. I did a paper on him. I forgot his name.
Who was the truck driver?
He was a track runner at City
At
College and
Oregon.
shit. And them Nike shoes he started about something in out of
Allergic
space.
to walnuts.
That can move.
But I'm saying,
I didn't know that.
I love you, dearly. We just all gotta stick together. I just prefer you not to use the N-word when you speaking amongst your brothers or your peers and your sisters. Or just have respect for your family because you're a representation of your family. I understand it was a little tough. They still getting that. We can still go to a club and beat up a white person. Back then, they probably beat up a white person, still get killed by the white cousins and stuff. I'm saying, for your own sake, your kids' sake,
I'm not gonna use it around my kids.
sake, stop using the N-word.
I
It's
ain't stop-
meaningless. You
hold
don't
up.
need to use it.
Carlos, what I said in the room about using the N-word, about my use of the N-word. No, you don't remember all the stuff I just
Wait.
Remember what I said, how I felt about using the N-word and what I'm trying to do?
No.
You know, I heard. Because I remember what you told me.
I remember what you said.
I used to remember what you told me,
No,
but
I said-
just start off and I might
Remember I
finish
said
it.
I'm going to start using it because I don't like, they feel really uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. She said it makes
I'm
people
just trying
feel
to work
uncomfortable.
on not using it because that's the
I
same
got all
way.
this respect for y'all. And what if I come up again? What's up, hoes? Nah, come on. When you want to slap me or get your brother, your girl,
It's just something I'm used to using. Like I used to,
whoever.
could you tell I used to curse like a sailor?
Huh?
I used to curse all the time. I
It
had to
ain't
work
no
out.
excuse.
No, I'm not saying it's an excuse.
I
I'm
used
just
to
telling
curse
you. I'm
up and
telling
say-
you about me. I'm telling you about me. It's something I gotta work out my vocabulary.
You in college, you redoing all this text, you the cream of the crop. It ain't no excuse for you to talk about I need to work up my.
I'm working.
You supposed to be the one that's reading, doing all that stuff every day to go back home and teach your kids and stuff. That ain't no excuse.
Who said excuse?
If
I
you
just
don't
told you.
read, you should start reading.
I'm supposed to be
Amen
reading
to
right now.
that. Amen to that.
I gotta do that chapter. You wanna help me do the chapter review? I don't wanna do it.
You know what I used to do sometimes? Try to read. All you gotta do is just type in whatever on Google